Okay, so let's look at Jerry Falwell and money laundering. It came up for Jen Lynn Tarot. She said that there is possibly some money laundering going on. Churches are good for that because they can hide money easily. And we all know he has no morals. And not because of the pool boy, but because he's not taking care of the community like Christ commanded you to. Four of Cups. There's an offer. An offer of what? There's some plans. Cooperations too. Defense. Defense of ideals and beliefs. So this is also an advantage. It's always noted that this person is in a better position to defend than you are to attack, the higher ground card. So he has the advantage. I got the church from this card too when I just flipped it, but I wasn't saying that because it sounded a little biased. But because the reason I get it is when I said defending yourselves and your beliefs, his organization is a place where you can do just that. And not only can you do that, you can do it explicitly. You can say what you want to say in the church pulpit, and what are they going to do to you? You have freedom of speech and religion. So he's in a better position to defend what's going on or in and around his organization more so than we are to do anything about it. So there's news about an action. The Eight of Swords is usually the card of being powerless, being bound. Mind you, the swords never touch the person, so they can get out if they wanted to. But it's a restriction. Interesting how you have the Seven of Wands being able to defend, you're on a higher ground, and then feeling powerless. What does it mean? So there is a feeling of powerlessness in being able to defend. I'm going to go with not powerlessness, but willingness. And here's why, because this is not a card that shouts willingness. But like I said, this person is surrounded by swords. The swords do not touch the person, therefore they're not in danger. They can take the blindfold off and see that they're not in danger. And they can untie themselves because their hands are not behind their back where you're at a disadvantage. One hand is on top of the other, but they both face up. Just turn your palms in and then pull and pull and pull until it looses, and then boom, you're done. So there is a fear that I get with this. You don't want to cross the entities, so you submit to being bound. Because you cannot possibly be in a better position to defend than those who attack you and still feel powerless. You can, technically, yes. You can be in a better position to defend and not know it, therefore submit and feel powerless. That could also be. Because mind you, we get an offer. So someone came to you and said, hey, XYZ, and then you somehow or another felt as though you were not in a good position, even though you technically are. And then you willingly bound yourself to these people. The news and the action is about a cycle. It is about literally the world. So this is something more than likely overseas, because I don't think it's coming from Canada and Mexico. At least not Mexico as in governmental Mexico. So there is some connection. I haven't gotten money yet, but this is a structure of partnership. And then there it is. Knight of Pentacles is your methodical card. It is your slow and steady wins the race card, but it's also money coming to you. Judgment. Something from the past coming back up. You've done this before. Strength. And then victory. So, is there money laundering? Ace of Swords says yes. Will it be discovered? There's a loss around the relationships and the illusions. There's a King of Cups here, searching for answers, so there's an investigation. Closest King of Cups I got is an Adam Schiff. Cooperation, new energies. So burden is the justice system. Walking away from the money. So eventually this will stop because the heat will be turned on. You will not be necessarily caught, but who are you getting money from and why? Who are you getting money from and why? Ace of Swords. The Devil. Ten of Cups. Hangman. Initially, you were getting money for protection. That's weird. Because of your own, shall we say, side life. Not just the pool boy, but, you know, the money and the greed and the avarice and all that good stuff. All the things the devil brings. He brings destructive behavior and all that kind of stuff. But you were living a life of that church people would judge. People like you would judge. And you were found out, you were blackmailed, you were this, you were that. Okay, fine. But the people, it was sort of like a, what do you call that? Catch and kill? It was one of those things. Because here's your clarity and your victory, right? Around your destructive behavior. Not that you got help with your destructive behavior, but you got coverage with your destructive behavior surrounding your family. So it affected them. They all know XYZ. Gives you a new outlook. But it also binds you. So, someone somewhere is your fixer. This isn't a Michael Cohen thing. It was initially. There's another ace. And then the death. The fool. And justice. So, it was about to hit the fan. Like I said, previous, you were being manipulated and blackmailed by someone you got into a relationship with, because it's a new person. Changed things completely. It was foolish, literally. And it was threatening to be legal, which would have bound you even more. Disappointment, despondency, fate, money, and then the hero, the white knight, saves the day. So, you're in an awful position. Don't know what to do. Face and palms. Fate. Someone comes along at the time you needed them. You ignored them. Because this is how this works. To be religious for a second. I'm not a religious person, but to be religious for a second. Every time you are in a position to where you're going to do something wrong, God gives you an out. You can take that out, or you can do the wrong. Say, you've seen a man drop his wallet. Seen a man drop his wallet. No, let's not say wallet. You've seen a man drop $20. Seen him drop it. He is in a distance that you can catch him with your voice and said, hey, you dropped money. You don't have to physically run over there, pick it up, run after him, and give it back. With your voice. No shouting or nothing. Hey, you dropped some money. You have the out. Call the man, your spirit will tell you, hey, pick that, tell that man pick his money up. He just dropped it. Or you pick it up because he didn't realize he dropped it, and then you put it in your pocket. It may not be a big thing to you, but the way fate works, if you take 20, you lose 200. That's the way it works. So, he ignored the person who could have helped him, and then went with the person who helped him. So this person requires money, because this is not technically help. It's just quid pro quo. Help is free. Because you can go up to them and say, hey, you dropped your $20, but in order to get it back, I need $5. And then the person comes in to save the day. Last row, what does it say? There is the compromise. There is your, I still didn't get a who, because it's not a person. It's entities. It's many persons. There's your compromise. To conceal. To keep hidden. To confuse. Between your primal nature and your instinctive nature. And your psychic nature and your realistic nature and all these different things. To conceal everything. Then the investment. Then the Page of Cups. You are now the subordinate. Secrets. So, you also have the clarity. We're on the relationships. Once the news came out, it caused despondency, but you found someone to save the day because there is your compromise. The devil causes the change, and then fate seals your secrets. Your family have to deal with you, the loss of money, and the loss of love. This affects you in the home base, but nobody's going anywhere because we're all good, suffering Christians. There's the hanging man. There's your outlook, your bind, your justice. Your knight in shining armor is also a secret. Now, if I can give conspiracy theory for just a second. I don't like conspiracy theories, which is why I don't ever read on them, but we might do the moon landing one. But anyway, this is not a person in the traditional sense. This is more so a spirit inhabiting a body type of thing. The person's alive, they bleed and die like anybody else. But their sole purpose is to corrupt. I won't say their sole purpose is to corrupt. Their spirit is corrupt. Therefore, they do corruptible things with no remorse. I'll say it that way. He is not being compromised by a person. He is being compromised by an entity, like, a business or government. They have individuals who deal with him. This is not him per se. This is not something they just sought him out to do. They do this with anyone big that is not looked at by the government. First place you can go is a church. The only time the government looks at a church is when someone raises the red flag on finance. But there isn't a whole lot they can do. So, best place to hide your money? Either in a mattress or in a church.